Get it. Folks, you are now tuned into the most dynamic podcast known to man, the podcast of the podcast. People who like podcasts, but they like hip-hop shit at the same time, but it's podcasts they do like, but they follow a podcast because it's two black dudes podcasting from Montana, but one of them live in Montana, but the other one living in the Bay, but he used to live in Montana while I was living in Chicago. It's us. What's good, America, folks? You know who it is. It's Dynamic Duo. I'm in Invisalign Charlotte right now, so if you hear like the list or whatever, I had these out way too long today, so I'll take them out in a minute. It's live. If you don't like it, get your money up. I'll get my teeth straight. Whatever. Hey, I am the Prime Minister of Duval County himself. Let me stop for a second. I got a confession to make. I wagered a little bit on this past weekend's games, and I lost. I lost a decent amount of money, like nothing to be concerned about. Like the mortgages still get paid, lights will still be on, but I lost respect this weekend, Walt. Like I lost hope. All right. Now, before I introduce you, I got to tell you, because on one of these upcoming shows, you're going to see me in something that, I'm going to be honest with you, I never thought I would put on in my life. In one of these upcoming shows, you're going to see me in a Jaguars jersey. I'm not happy about it. I'm just gonna be real with you. Like, I'm not happy about it at all.
I didn't even put that together until right now.
Like, I'm so hurt by it, dude. Like that I actually have to put on a Jaguars jersey and do a show in it, and like it hurts. But that's you'll see that when you see it. But back to the introduction. The man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Six, the greatest wide receiver in indoor football history. Don't at me. Matter of fact, at me, actually. Compare stats if you like it. That's all it, because I believe men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. So at me. And we can compare stats. I ain't gonna say Brian Prey name and nobody like that, but if you think you're the greatest, at me, all right?
Oh, that's my homie, man. Y'all be going at my homie hard, man. That's my shout out. Shout out Pitt State. That's an MIAA guy. I see you, Big Prey. Shout out to you.
Listen, all your contemporaries fall second. Solo, James Terry, they all fall second to the man, the myth, the legend, the man who has hands of glue and satin at the same time, James Big Game Madison Walton III. What's going on, baby?
Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, man. I'm a little subdued, but what's good, America? And I mean, Chris, we talked literally for about 2 minutes before we hit the record button on this, because I was like, I gotta find a shirt because I don't know what my guy wants to holler at me about. What's going on with him. When I get a text like, I'm gonna be there in an hour, be ready, which is dope now that I work from the crib. That's easy to do now. It's nice. So I just went with old classic America. We got on the Mystery Machine shirt. We got on a Scooby-Doo shirt, Chris, because I mean,
can't go wrong with Scooby-Doo.
Listen, man, like we need the gang to solve some mystery. That's what you told me. We did, I thought, 2 great shows. I think 2 of our better shows for content and time. I can't believe we stayed that concise, got to the point.
Yeah.
But according to you, man, there's some mysteries we need resolved. So I'm hoping Shaggy, Scooby, Fred, Velma, and Daphne. I hope that. What's on your mind, man?
Listen, man. I need. You remember the old school Scooby-Doo when they had to bring like the Harlem Globetrotters in to try to solve a mystery?
Yeah.
We need all of that right now because
so you're saying Scooby-Doo and guest stars.
I need guest stars as well. Like it's Adam West. I need all.
Yeah, they all showing up, boy. I remember there was a few Batman episodes.
Exactly. So let's just hop right into it, man. So anybody, we just gonna let the John Gruden thing rock and just sweep it under the rug, huh? We just done with it. Like it's all right. Listen, it's some other emails coming out, but he don't work for the NFL no more, so we're not gonna talk about it. I told you on the last episode, if you don't leave that man alone, some other stuff is going to come out and it's going to damn a lot other people in the league. NFL, thank you for taking my advice because you left him alone and now you're letting the story sleep pretty much, trying to let another news cycle go. Hopefully something happens somewhere else that covers everything else up, just so you can say, yeah, we're not talking about that Gruden thing anymore. That's old news. America, you know how America works. A story's only a story while it's a story. So if we don't talk about it and the NFL don't talk about it, then hopefully you won't talk about it. And that's what's happening right now. Listen, the Raiders went out, had a good game, had a good quality win. Like Derek Carr looked like he's supposed to look. Like he's been looking like the Derek Carr that people have been waiting on for like the last 3-4 years. Bunch of good catches. Defense played lights out. You got a quality win. Now, I'm not going to sit here and be the tinfoil hat guy and say it's a conspiracy that you happen to get a big win when you really needed it, because it does look a little suspicious that you played that well and they played that bad and you guys got that big of a win. But at the same time, a lot of teams got blew out in the NFL this weekend. According to ESPN, like we should have won, but that's a whole other story. Listen.
Listen, I watched that whole game, so.
The Raiders, go ahead.
Can I tell you something before you go? In my head, I'm thinking that I obviously, for some reason, I'm like, yeah, because I'm in a little pick'em league. Shout out to my big little brother, Sergeant McDonald. Want to shout him out always whenever I can.
I saw that. Shout out to Pete.
Yeah, and we're in this pick'em league together, and I'm going like, oh, I'm good. I obviously picked Miami because there's no way Jacksonville. I actually looked at the start of the game, and at the beginning of the week, I picked Jacksonville. So when Jacksonville had the league, I was like, well, let me see how many points I had on that. Of course, I had the least amount of points because I had the least amount of faith in that game going anyway.
As well you should.
So I'm sorry that I might be the reason you having to put on, that teal and black, man. So I'm sorry about that. But I guess I kind of knew. I make my picks Tuesday. I guess I knew they was going to win on Tuesday and just didn't even look at it after that. That's crazy. In regards to your opening statements about John Gruden, I sang a song last week, and I'm going to continue to sing that song. Because you know what I realized about how great that song is? Like how much it just comes to play with anything. When you ask a question of why things are this way, America, all you have to hear is this
is America,
haunting hymn in your ears. And it goes very simply like this. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh. As soon as you start hearing that, you should be like, oh, about to be some bullshit. Because I'm telling you right now, look, Chris Turner, you 100% called it. And here's the truth to it. To DeMaurice Smith's credit, one of the couple of decent things he's done as the NFLPA president, because outside of that, what has he really done? I will say this, him saying, let's see everything. That's great. I'm glad that, one guy lost his job, but he's thinking about it. Everybody else needs to lose their job. And the only people you can't really take their jobs from are owners. They can step aside and let somebody run day to day, but it's not like you're going to take Daniel Snyder's money.
No.
Mrs. Snyder's just hanging out. So, I mean, like, we get it. Now, what would be interesting with all these newly minted billionaires that we have all over the place, and seeing the fun that our guy, who is it, Steve, what's owner of the Clippers? What's his last name?
Oh God, I can't think of it.
I'm losing it. Steve Ballmer, who's one of my favorite owners in all of sports right now. You got a bunch of billionaire guys that, you know what? Maybe if the NFL, had the balls to go, if we see some other emails with some other owners and go, yeah, you're going to have to sell your team. Now we've seen it happen, with Tepper. So it can be done if it's that bad. But is it that bad? See what I'm saying? Like, think about it though. Because remember, the owner Richardson of Carolina.
Yeah.
We'd have to have DeJuan on to talk about him. Well, that's crazy. We've had him on a couple times and we ain't even talked about his time underneath that guy. Tepper's there now because the NFL made a decision and they kicked him out for the things that he did and said. But yet the McNairs are still running their organization. How are you going to, the Maras basically, the Maras and the Rooneys, like they run the league.
Exactly.
But even Mara himself has said some things where you've almost got to be like, what are those?
What you really mean by that? Yeah, like what you mean by that?
Yeah, what are you trying to say without saying it? Like you want to hug Michael Strahan, but at the same time you want to shit on Odell Beckham. So did I just make a T-shirt? Anyway.
Let's be honest, dude. We're now living in a time where, like, hey, what's done in the dark, it's a flashlight coming. Like, it's like there is no more throwing a rock and hiding your hand, but it is what it is. Like, if you said it wrong, right, or indifferent, you better stand on it because God forbid somebody's gonna find out what you said somehow, some way.
And you know what? I don't know what article I was reading, but did they not get the Tom Brady like playbook? Destroy your evidence. Tom smashed that phone up. He was like, nope.
Not getting your boy.
I'll take my 4 games and I'll be back. And at the end of the day, it's so great it's so great to say this because people are going to look at me and roll their eyes when I say this. But Tom Brady is that prime example of what you see the American dream look like.
Yeah.
And we've seen it happen in sports a number of times. It's not just him. It's Tom and Deflate Gate and see they was cheating. And then Tom goes to Tampa Bay and now everybody loves Tom. Like everybody loves Tom Brady. And good for him. We saw it happen with Kobe. Kobe was the exact same way. He took his hits. They didn't win the title that year. They lost to Detroit that year. Took him a while to get back. And then 5 years later, Kobe's winning and everybody loves Kobe now.
Dude, I think that's more so on the line of like, hey, winning solves everything. Now there's certain things you can't come back from for the most part. But if you're an athlete, if you're a coach, a short memory comes with winning. Because not to put Andy Reid kind of in this same bubble, but like Andy Reid wasn't winning with the Eagles and they got rid of him. Andy Reid kind of brought back with the Chiefs and like he won a Super Bowl and got this high-powered offense to this fun-loving guy. And like now you forget about how Andy couldn't really get over the hump. Like he's a good guy now. Everybody loves Andy Reid. Like Matthew Stafford was a bum essentially to everybody who didn't know football. You get him out of Detroit, you get him to LA, he's winning. You see like, oh, he actually can throw for 6,000 yards. Well, he's been doing that the whole time, but now he's winning with it. So like, oh, Stafford's a good guy. Kobe, like all these, God, and please don't strike me down on this one. Michael Jordan. I got to watch how I'm going with this one, but Mike, a lot of people like the gambling, the smoking right before the game, the night, like Michael Jordan's life, but he won 6 championships though. So it's like winning solves most things. It doesn't make you a better person, but it makes it easier to gloss over things like, oh yeah, he did get in trouble, but he did win some ships. Tom got in trouble, but he went down to Tampa. He got his championships and all that. Winning solves a lot. And the fact that Gruden was just doing okay, kind of in Oakland, made it easier. And the fact of the group of people he was talking about, because he was talking about every group of people, that's what got him out. The fact that you're not winning and you're shitting on everybody, we don't need you.
Yeah. And, I just wonder what Mark Davis's haircut's going to look like now. I'm sorry.
Dude, if they don't, as a man with no hair, if he doesn't shave that crap off, like, dude, like he looks like just a cartoon character's bad haircut of a bad haircut. Like it's so bad. Like I get when you're worth billions, like you don't care other people's opinion. There has to be somebody in his circle like, yo, Mark, bro, I'm not feeling that, dude. Like you got to let that go. Cause like look at his pops. All right, look at Al. Like Al Davis was swag before, like it was cool, like black shades, black Raiders jacket on, white collar shirt, and he just rocking it. Like had shades on all the time, right? Even when he was an older guy.
Hey, his velour jumpsuits though for men. Hey, dude, Al, hey, he'd wear the white or the crispy silver, or he had the crispy black, and he probably had Jordans on, and we just never.
Oh,
saw
you know, he had Jordans, or he had like loafers.
Air Force minimums, or maybe he had the. You know what he had? He had the Air Bombay. He had the Gordon Bombay joints.
Not the Gordon.
Or Mighty Ducks too.
Yes, folks, that is a fucking Mighty Ducks reference. I want to put that.
I mean, listen, I got a Scooby-Doo shirt. I think people knew I was very capable of a Mighty Ducks 2 reference, which is still my movie. I do watch it from time to time for inspiration.
Quack.
Man, look, don't get me hyped up in here. But listen, man, at the end of the day, I'm going to repeat what Chris Turner is saying. The NFL knows better. They want it to go away because John Gruden, if he can just take his lickings and just be left alone and, y'all go beat up everybody else in that email, he'd be very happy. I'll tackle him.
It's okay, dude. You watching football, I'm watching wrestling. Like you might be able to catch like the reflection.
Let's just call it what it is, America. I'm looking for a second Derrick. Yeah, I can see it. I'm just looking for a second Derrick Henry touchdown, so I don't have to care about that game anymore. Let's just call
King
it
King Henry.
Since we're on the topic of the NFL, I think that I'd like to transition into not so much what happened. I think you've got plenty of time to talk about, what happened with that. But I think just what we've seen so far. We're 6 games in, I believe.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of truth is being told. And the NFC is scary good.
Yeah, top to bottom.
NFC is scary good.
I agree.
Because Arizona just made the move of moves. That's the move of moves. That's just saying, like, we're all in right now.
Explain to me why you make this, not Arizona, as Philadelphia, why do you make this move? Because I don't know if it's a cap hit, I don't know if it's a locker room thing, but you just gave a kid who already has a golden arm and like deep threats and everything else, you gave him a safe, mind you, he already has like a safety valve in Hopkins. But you just gave him another scramble round. Oh, there's nobody coming. Let me drop it off 8 yards to him right here in the middle. Like you gave him a big target that's closer.
Well, it's really what we've talked about is what should be happening with Tennessee. That's not been happening. What we've seen is really amazing. And it's just the fact that now what do you do? I can still see you. You're frozen a little bit, but I can hear you. But we still good. At least we got it recorded. I think you'll catch up here in a minute, or likewise. But the point is that now you're talking about, you got Hopkins. AJ Green has found his legs. Like AJ's back. Like he never left. Like he's probably a year older, but AJ Green's viable. And now you're gone completely. That's all right. Just come back in the room when you come back in. I'm going to keep it recording. I'll let you back in, Chris. All right. And then, you've got the great slot guys. Rondale Moore, been amazing. Christian Kirk got 4 touchdowns, I think, this year. Now you add Ertz. You can't cover all these guys. Like, you can't double anybody. You can't double anybody unless you're just going to be a DeAndre Hopkins hater. And just basically say, well, we don't like you, so you're just not going to get any stats. We're going to force him to throw his 5 touchdowns over here. And all you've done with Zach Ertz is you've made the Connor Edmonds move even better. Those guys are good players, and they're good running backs. But then when you add a tight end threat like Ertz, you just make those guys better. Like, they're never going to see 7-man boxes in that offense. You have to play 5 DBs with that. You have to. Like, it's always going to be some sort of 4-2-5 or 3-3-5. Like, you've essentially, Cliff Kingsbury, to his credit, has essentially legitimately turned a professional NFL offense and has made you have to honor it with college defense. And it's crazy. It's really crazy that he's, been able to do that, So I think for me, when I see that, I just go, well, what are you going to do with that? And then here's the other thing about it. Like, are they the best team in that division? Right now, you have to give it to them because but the Rams are really good. Like, they're really good. And we know that Tampa Bay's just their whole defense is hurt, but Tom's still finding a way. All those guys are going to be back. None of those guys, those are not those are not season-ending injuries those guys have. They're short-term IR, hamstrings and ankles and, things that can, they can find a way. It sucks to see Sherman go down, but kind of hard for him not to completely pull a hamstring when he came off the street and he played that many snaps. And they have just enough offense to be fine. And I thought Carolina was ready, but it looks like without CMC, they're just not going to get there. And we know the Saints are so up and down, you can't even like, we don't know what they are. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then, Aaron Rodgers, you always got a fighting chance. It is what it is. Goes without saying. You got a fighting chance when you got Aaron Rodgers. And then quiet is kept, and not quiet because we have those fans, Chris. I resent you the invite just in case you couldn't find it. The Dallas Cowboys are for real. Like, they're a contender. I'm not saying they can win the NFC, but they're going to have a home playoff game. And I find myself, I was saying this weekend to the wife. I was like, I think I'm a Dak Prescott fan. Like, I really like him. Like, I really, really admire him. And I like the way he's been playing the game. I'm a fan.
Problem with individual players. There's just a problem with like the Dallas Cowboys as a whole. Like, nobody picks out except Zeke. I hate Zeke. But as a whole, like, you don't like the Cowboys, but you like CD Lamb because he's a fun receiver. You like Coop because he goes out and does his job. You like Dak because Dak's a lovable guy, has good commercials. They're not annoying like Baker Mayfield's joints. So, like, you like Cowboy players, you just don't like the Cowboys.
Yeah. So, that's it. And then, I don't know. We go to the AFC.
Well, hold on. Let me rock with you on the NFC for a second. You got the Vikings, who honestly, they are puncher's chance because at any time their offense can explode and get you 3 touchdowns in the quarter quickly. Their defense, it's okay at best, but their offense is going to give you a puncher's chance. Just they are. We're already talking about the Rams, that pretty much that whole division. I think you hit it right on the head with the Panthers because like CMC is what makes them go, stop, and everything else. And the fact that He is what he is right now. Like, it is what it is. It's football. Everybody gets hurt. The Giants are dead in the water. They're still 2-3 years away. But no, like, I think you hit it right on the head. Like, the Cowboys have God, it hurts to say, but the Cowboys got a chance. Like, they have a chance. But go to the AFC.
So here's the deal. Buffalo's as good as advertised. Lamar Jackson, I'm so proud of him and happy for him. The fact they're doing that without Marcus Peters. So I got to give them all the credit in the world. And they're starting to he's maturing. He is almost the second for real legit dual quarterback. He is proving his point, and I think he's doing it to me. And I've been looking forward to adding him because I've been a fan of this guy forever. I love him. But I'm going to critique fairly to where there's only been one guy in that boat that can effectively beat you with both. And Lamar Jackson has now shown I can beat you with my arm like I used to be able to do in college.
You're going to have to respect it.
Yep. I'm liking that he's doing that, and they're giving him the chance to do that. So I give Greg Roman all the credit. They're starting to do some good things with that passing. And you know, I don't care who it goes to, whatever, as long as he's stretching the ball vertically from time to time and then getting to use the ultimate cheat code, those legs, good for him. Like, that's what I love. I love that he's like, you can't guard him.
No.
The only person that can stop Lamar Jackson, and or his outside guys not getting open. So I want to make sure I don't put that on Lamar because guys got to get open. But guys should be able to get open in that offense because they're not asking you to do much. Hollywood Brown's their best route runner. So when it comes time to run a route, he's just got to be able to run a route. And Mark Andrews, you can't cover him, you know.
Here's my thing. So, I was talking to Joe George this weekend. You remember Joe. But if the Ravens make it to the Super Bowl and they have to play the Bucs, I God honestly believe the Ravens will get routed. Like, I don't think it'll be close. Here's the only reason why. I got nothing but faith in Lamar Jackson because I'm all things Florida, except the Jaguars, but I'm all things Florida. So I got nothing but respect for Lamar. But, like, if you got 100% healthy Bucs defense, you can't run with Lamar. That's damn near impossible. But, like, they have the team where their front six, front seven, they can go punch for punch with them, and like they'll stop more than they give up because their linebackers are honestly some of the best in the business right now.
Well, 45 is the ultimate mobile quarterback.
Exactly.
Like he by himself can take all that away.
Sideline to sideline.
He do it all the time. Like he's legit.
Lamar is going to, like, if they play the Bucs, Lamar will get his because you can't call him back for 4 quarters. But the Bucs will get more than they give up.
Yeah, I think Kansas City losing out on making the deal for Stephon Gilmore was really, and I get some guys that are there that I respect or Chiefs fans say, well, why spend money? Because he's proven that he's that good.
He's that damn good.
So I will say this. Carolina has him. And when he comes off of IR, that gives them a chance to make the playoffs because they have a good defense. They do. I think Kirk just played a hell of a game.
Yeah.
And they've got some guys. I mean, they got some guys.
They can go.
JJ and AT, Adam Thielen. I mean, those guys are all pros for a reason. They've all been all pro or perennial Pro Bowl, like all of them at one point in their career. So
correct.
And any day of the week you can get beat by a better man, especially in a game that's built against you as a defense. But I mean, Kansas City, I mean, look, man, they got to get some guys healthy, and then I got to see. I'm not gonna throw them out because
let me ask you this:
as long as they got 15, even though he hasn't played like himself, but
no. Let me ask you this: with Kansas City, is it injuries? Is it Has the league caught up to what they were doing? Is it guys just not performing? Like, what is going on in Kansas City?
I think a lot of it's injuries. I think Mahomes is trying to do too much. And when you look at his interceptions, I've seen half his interceptions this year have come off the hands of his receivers. This guy's volleyballing balls in the air. Yeah. I mean, that one where he was getting tackled and just tried to flip it, like, that's a dumb shit. Like, you can't be doing that shit. That's right. You're an MVP. You're not supposed to do that. But Tyreek literally batted one into a guy's hands, you know. So I think a lot of their stuff is, you know, I think a lot of it is Mahomes is trying to do too much, which is, you know, like he does too much, but he's trying to do too much.
Way too much.
Exactly. And I think that's the issue with them. I still believe in the Chargers, even though they got murdered. If that game happened again, if that game happened again, I guarantee it would be closer. I don't know if they'd win, but you know,
it'd be a better game.
Yeah. So I still believe in the Chargers. I mean, the AFC South just makes no sense to me. Remember how we talked about Tennessee should run away with it, but their defense is so bad,
and the Colts still have a chance.
And they've got SEC hamstrings over there. So I mean, like, I don't know what they're, you know, them guys just got to stay healthy. But Buffalo, I love. Baltimore, I love. And here's a team that I'm very happy, and I know it just makes you just want to do this. But the Cincinnati Bengals, you got to call it what it is.
I don't have here's the thing.
And I told you why I was such a fan of that. And listen, what's coming to fruition for me is when I watch a lot of football that's happened this year, it's just knowing that I still understand the game. And I'm like, what I see, these eyes are still, they're still shooting about an 85% clip. And I'm loving that because I'm looking at what Joe Burrow's doing. I'm looking at what Mac Jones is doing. And I'm looking at what these other guys are doing. So it still lets me know I can still evaluate the game the right way. Jamar Chase, we knew how good he was.
Yeah.
And made the best decision of his life to take that year off and just make sure he's ready. And he's
as good. He's as good as advertised.
I mean, look at that championship team. Now, obviously, it doesn't compare to the depth that you guys have been put in the leagues, but just about every star on that team is contributing in a big way to another team. You know, everybody that mattered on that team at all the positions.
That's right.
So there's been a lot of things. There's been a lot of things to me that have been answered. There's still some answers that need to be seen. And I think it's been a big topic, obviously, with one of my favorite shows. But I think the world is starting to see it now. What's up? What's up in Cleveland? Because they're wasting.
I'm just going to be honest, and I've been the same way. I've been the same way since day one. I'm not a Baker fan. Like, I'm not on the Baker train. I can't stand him in stupid ass commercials. Like, I don't think
those commercials are great. So stop that shit.
They actually are. The commercials actually are pretty good. They actually are. But I'm not on the Baker train as your franchise quarterback. Like, he has the bravado. He has the ego. He has everything you need to be your franchise face of your franchise. Like, he has everything you need to be the guy. But it's like those old school cars that just won't quite turn over all the way. It's like it's going, but it won't. And that's Baker game to game. He'll have two good quarters, and then the third quarter, he'll throw two random, unbelievably bad picks. And in the fourth quarter, he's average. So, like, it's too unexpected with him. Like, Jarvis Landry, quiet as kept, is one of the best receivers in the league. And I don't even know if that's quiet as kept. It's just the fact that OBJ's there, it doesn't get as touted as it should. You have a top 5 tight end. You have a top 5 defense. You have a top 10 O-line. You have a great running back system. The weak link is the quarterback, and that's why it's not working. That's the problem. The problem is your quarterback. That's the main reason this whole situation doesn't work. Like Baker doesn't have whatever it is, like that last little 2%, which would make the Browns like scary good. He doesn't have it.
Yeah, I mean, I just come to say that I think there's a lot of, I think we know who the teams are, you know?
Yeah.
Like we know the guys. You know, what I don't know is if these other guys that I still believe in, if they still got it, you know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at, man. And I'll be honest with you. I think it's a good place to stop for two reasons. One, because I told the wife I'd at least have chicken on the grill before she came home from yoga, and I want to do right by my wife. Two, my give me a minute has been in my head for about 3 days. So just give me a little audio to make sure I can still hear you through my earphones and not my phone.
I can hear you, baby. You sound good on my end.
Yeah, let me
turn my headphones up.
Jakey auxiliary cord. Terrible. Get it together.
You're good on my end.
There we go. So America, I'm gonna do this. Give me a minute. In a fashion that I normally wouldn't, because I don't normally jump into these, but I've had some thoughts. And I think we'll end up segueing into it at some point because of it's at that time of year. But America, give me a minute. This is the bottom line. Kyrie Irving, there is absolutely nothing wrong with what you're doing. Not one thing. And I'm happy for you that you are doing what you feel is best for you. Because like we sing on this song, like the song we sing, This Is America. Do you. But I will say this. The same people that I see, because guess what? The eyes don't lie, America. The same people I hear talking about putting up all his accolades with what he's done and given back, which he's been very quiet about for a reason.
The way you should be.
The same people shitting on Kyrie Irving when he was taking a knee. So I'm going to tell you right now, this is the problem. Don't pick and choose what is right and wrong to judge somebody based off of what you politically believe. Let's get some like 2021, the end of it, coming to 2022, let's get back to consistently just being who we are. You know what? If we are, at the end of the day, good-natured people, and we have philosophical differences on what our voting parties are or certain policies within government, let's have our discussions. Let's give back to that. Or you know what? If we never were that, which I think that's really what it is, Chris, I don't think we ever were that.
No.
Why don't we start that? But you know what? If you're going to have the same energy about certain things, please do me a favor and keep it. Because people like myself that live right in the middle of the gray zone my entire life, I'm never going to go too far this way, that way. I just like to use my radar as I know genuinely good people and I know genuinely bad people. And I tell you that right now, I don't know a whole lot of bad people because at the end of the day, I know I can speak for Chris as that. If you really are a bad person, I don't have any time for you in my life. So any and everybody that's in my life, you're a good person. So I know that. But let's be real about our energy. You guys are praising, and I see who it is. I see the crowd that it is. Understand what you're doing. You're defending somebody that you were shitting on 2 years ago. Because Kyrie Irving was the first person that did not want to come back and play when all that stuff was happening when they were in the bubble. Kyrie Irving said, no basketball. You entitled, black, this and this, making all these millions, don't want to play. And now, because he doesn't want to get the COVID shot, well, look at all the great things Kyrie's done. Miss me. So my minute's short. All I'm telling you is, look in the mirror, man. It's time. So Kyrie, good for you. Stephen A. Smith, bad form. Everybody that's had an opinion on this, bad form. The only people that should have an opinion on this is Kyrie Irving and them other 15 dudes in that locker room. And if they've come to agreement and they support him,
that's it.
Cool. And if they disagree with what's going on with Kyrie, they have the right because their livelihood does depend on number 11. Nobody else. If you are not a Brooklyn Net, chill out. So, Kyrie, best of luck to you. I hope that it all works itself out. I honestly hope the country comes to a point where we don't need to have these mandated things happen. You just hope that the country comes back to doing what it does. But as you can see, Chris Turner rolling his eyes during my give me a minute. My county's at like 90%, so I can do whatever I want. So I'm good. America has been my minute. Shout out Santa Clara County.
I got my vaccine. I go back the end of this week to get my second one, so it is what it is. I'll say this and then I'll get to my give me a minute. I originally had no plans of getting the vaccine, and this is going to tie into my give me a minute. I was one of the conspiracy guys like, oh, it's their way to track you. But at the same time, you keep your cell phone in your pocket or in your hand all the damn time anyway. Oh, it's the government, this, that, and the third, or they're putting poison in your body. Dude, I grew up in the South. I grew up on moonshine, fried foods, and pretty much crap up until college. So I put poison. Matter of fact, and even when I got to college, Everclear, moonshine, and E&J whiskey. I've been putting poison in my body since 1984. So it is what it is. Kyrie, it's your decision. It's you and the Nets. Like, it is what it is. If you're not one of the core guys, shut the fuck up. Like, it is what it is. But that ties into my America's give me a minute. We lost a good one today. We lost General Colin Powell. Colin Powell was one of those guys, and I'm gonna take a second. Colin Powell was one of those guys when we were kids, and Walt, you can attest to this. He transcended a party. Like his aura, his presence, it wasn't Republican, it wasn't a Democrat, it wasn't independent. He was General Colin Powell. And that's it. And granted, Colin Powell was up there in age and probably had other concerning health issues, but we lost a great man. And it led me to this. I've lost a lot of great men over these last couple months here, and it's brought me to this. Hence why I got the COVID shot. Life is short. Nothing's guaranteed. Book that trip. Buy that car. Go to the movies for no reason at all. Like, take that walk. That dream vacation you've been wanting to go to Tahiti, do it. Like, catch that flight and just go. Get your COVID shot, because that's a lot of places you need your shot. Get your shot and go. Go buy them shoes. Go buy that bag. Like, you can make more money. You can't replace memories in time. Like, get your kid, y'all grab a flight, go. Like, yo, let the school know so-and-so won't be here Thursday and Friday. We'll be back Monday. Like, now is the time. Like, I get it. COVID is running rampant still, and the Delta variant, you need booster shots and all that. Now is the time, if you've learned nothing from the quarantine time, now is the time to just get up and go. What you waiting on? Like, just go. And I need to take my own advice when it comes to it on a lot of this shit, but I'm booking that flight now. Like, I'm buying the unnecessary nonsense, most of it anyway, not all of it. I'm still trying to say something. But like, I'm going. Like, go for what you want. Like, what you holding back for, what you waiting on. And like I said, I need to take my own advice. But now is the time to do what you want to do in life, because none of this crap is guaranteed. Tomorrow ain't guaranteed. like the underlying health issues, your job, this, that, and the third. Like America's showing you right now, somebody's gonna hire you. Take that trip, use that PTO. Like, dude, I got almost a month worth of PTO right now that I haven't touched, but I'm about to. Now is the time to do what you need to do what you want to do. Have fun, take chances, be happy, take that extra shot, and live life. America, that's been my minute.
Yeah. Hey, we continue to practice saying, do you. You know what I'm saying? We are not pro or against. We just want you to live your life. So I guess
exactly.
Kyrie. Kyrie's living his life. Let him live it. With your good opinions or bad opinions. Let's just be more consistent about who we are. Let's just
Amen. Thanks.
So on that note, go ahead and take us out, big fella.
America, you know what it is. This was the greatest podcast, two great Americans. But the same question we asked you tonight is the same question we're going to ask you every night. Well, what is that question, sir?
What's good, America?
What's good, America?